Hi, I'm Bob Roth, Managing Partner and Co-Founder of Cypress Home Care Solutions. Since 1994, we've been helping older adults in the Phoenix community age gracefully and safely in the place they call home. Since 2014, I've been bringing you Health Futures, Taking Stock in You, a show dedicated to helping you live a longer, healthier, and happier life. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast, and enjoy the show. Welcome to Health Futures, and today I'm joined by two guests. One, a longtime friend, Lin Sue from Hospice of the Valley. Welcome to Health Futures.
Good to see you again.
And I'm also joined here by JoEllen Feltham, and my new friend, and she's also with Hospice of the Valley, but in a very different role. Yeah. So I want to kick off our show really introducing these two guests to our show. Not everybody has met Lin Sue, so if you wouldn't mind, please do share a little bit about your background and your experience here now with Hospice of the Valley. And now, JoEllen, I'll have you do the same.
Okay. Well, so I came to Hospice of the Valley, I can't believe it, 11 years ago, leaving a news career. My family member had experienced the care, and I was looking for a mission that I could really pour myself into and love this agency. As a nonprofit, they care for all. No matter insurance or financial circumstances, and it just does not get any sweeter and kinder than that, because hospice journey is a very vulnerable time. And so I'm loving what we do and how we support the community, and it isn't hospice care anymore. In the last 11 years, we've gone into chronic illness care and dementia care. Most of us are living longer, and we're going to experience that. So I just love what we do in caring for our community, and believe it or not, next year it'll be 50 years of caring for our
50
community.
years.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I love your personal journey, and a lot of people know you from the broadcasting world, but the family member you were talking about was kind of an institution here.
Yeah.
Pep Cooney, everyone knew Pep, and what a great guy. I've never heard anyone say anything negative about him.
He was wonderful, and he was a huge community man too.
He was.
We, played golf every day, was in wonderful shape, and had a genetic condition, aortic dissection. His two brothers had the same thing, and even though he made it to the hospital to have surgery, he suffered strokes of the brain and did not recover. So we did have to utilize hospice sooner than we wanted.
Right. And that was your experience.
And that was my first experience. So intellectually, you know what it is, but you don't know until you are actually traveling it with a loved one. If you love someone and they're on a hospice journey, you're on a hospice journey.
100%.
And so I got to see the interdisciplinary care, the way every social worker helped us, and nurse helped us, chaplain. I mean, it's beautiful to not have to walk that path alone. And the teams are trained so well and have so much compassion, and they meet you where you are. And then they help you with the grief afterwards. Holistic care.
Love that. Yeah. And JoEllen, you have a similar story. And your story is that your husband was on the board at Hospice of the Valley for a long time.
Yes.
And then you became an employee.
Yes.
So if you wouldn't mind, I don't want to steal your thunder, but can you share your journey with us as well?
Yes. I'd like to start off by the beginning when Jim was first on the board. So 30 some odd years ago, we were 20 years into a hospice. It started in 1977.
Right.
And I remember Jim telling me, he'd come home from board meetings and he'd said, we sat around today figuring out how can we pay the nurses? Because Medicare at that point was not involved with hospice care. But there was just a love and a commitment. Jim had the pleasure of working with two, I believe we've only had 5 executive directors in our 50 years. He worked with, at that time, Susan Goldwater, then Susan Levine, and of course, Debbie Shumway, our current CEO. So it was really hands-on. It was in the beginning. It was doing everything and anything because the mission meant so much. And of course, that rubbed off, living with someone who was so enthusiastic about this incredible agency. And one day, my little guys flew out of the nest And I was like, I think I'd like to support Hospice of the Valley. I was fortunate enough to get a very fun position as a volunteer coordinator, and then the White Doves, the thrift stores. And at that time, we had just opened a second store. So over the course of my career there, we opened 5 thrift stores. Today we have 4. And they're just booming. They're doing phenomenal. There was so much fun. Lin Sue and I would bring our packages after a day of shopping and show, this is what I got. This is what I bought. So it was
Treasure
great fun.
troves.
It was great
Well,
fun.
and the best thing is the money goes to support charity care.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The volunteers are running the store, so there's not salaries to pay there other than a few managers.
Right.
And I would imagine the families that you care for, not only
Yes.
are they so generous in terms of making donations to Hospice of the Valley, and having been a child of a parent that passed, you have all this stuff that you need to figure out what to do with. And, and I say treasure troves because, Lin Sue, you've shown me some of the purses and dresses and things you have gotten from the thrift shop.
Yeah, I know.
Amazing.
It's amazing. We had a
amazing.
competition. You got that? What? So it was great fun. And then, you never know what life is going to present on this journey. Mine has been a hugely blessed life, and my beloved ended up with some cognitive impairment. Initially, he would forget to tell me that one of my good friends called me. And so I thought he wasn't writing things down, and I'd get that paper and pencil. But it began to be a little more than that. And of course, I was in denial. He's fine, but then he's forgetting. He can do this, but maybe not. And it was actually one of the staff at Hospice the Valley. Of course, they knew Jim very well. We were at a luncheon, and I said to Jim, you remember Jean? And he went, hi, Jean. And our beloved Mary Beth Gallagher, who's a champion for our dementia,
rock star,
called me in one day and said, JoEllen, is Jim okay? I was like, what do you mean? Well, I noticed that you were feeding him the names of people that he's known for years. And then the floodgates and just the opportunity. So I find now that as I meet folks who are, I don't know, he seems okay, she seems all right, but that I'm able to say, you're going to be the first one that's really going to notice and tell. And let me share my story with you. The moment that I did share, it was like huge weights flew off my shoulder.
Wow.
And I wasn't carrying this burden and denying that I was able to face it. And I was protecting him, of course, and, able to face it and get the help that I needed just to be able to say, you're not alone. Okay, we're here with you, was incredible. And it was within a matter of 3 years, Jim lost his life. But during that time, I had so much help. And he did too. We have an amazing supportive care for dementia. I didn't feel we needed anything because after all, I could do it.
Right.
But of course, that's, the reality is you realize that you need all the help you can get. And so I received what I needed when I needed it. We have a program called Supportive Care for Dementia. And it is those early stages where caregivers can learn what resources are available for them. But also we sit and we chat. And so when I would say, Jim's so very forgetful, then Susie might say, you know what, it's all right. Try this, try this, try this. And then Susie would say, well, he's not sleeping now. And I'd go, oh dear, am I going to be facing that? And when I did, I remembered how Susie dealt with that situation. So being in a support group with other caregivers was huge for me, huge help. because you don't feel alone. And then being able to get, when I did need the care in my home, that was probably my biggest challenge, but I was able to get some help there. And then in the end, he died in one of our units, a beautiful home, Dobson home, with the best of care.
Sure.
And so I am, as many are, forever in gratitude and grateful for Hospice of the Valley.
And the biggest part of that is that supportive care for dementia program is grant supported. So families don't pay for that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lifeline because you don't know what to expect as dementia worsens, and it doesn't. It's not curable. It always goes.
It does.
There's decline. So to have that support every step and not to be worried about how much it's going to cost is a godsend.
Yes.
It truly is. And
Yes.
JoEllen, I can't thank you enough for sharing the story because we don't hear those stories from care partners all the time. And what makes this special, and I'm so glad you're here, and we're gonna talk about a big event that's coming up. So we're gonna hold a tab down on that. But the fact that you are a care partner and you can talk to us about that journey and how hard that is, and the fact that you had that weight lifted off your shoulders to know. I mean, you already had exposure to Hospice of the Valley, and all these people that are viewing and listening to our podcast may not know these resources. I talk about this a lot, talking about the support group, the in-home or the supportive dementia support group. It's so important for you to be amongst peers that are going through the journey with you, and they can tell you what to experience or what resources to access.
Yes.
Because a lot of people just don't know. You're in the throes of it, and being that caregiver is 24/7.
Exhausting.
You know, that 36-hour day book is so true because you can't, you probably slept with one eye open.
Yes.
Seriously, and that's hard.
Until
really
someone at Hospice got me one of those alarms that you put underneath the mattress, between the mattress and then you turn it on, and when Jim would get up, beep, 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 you know. So there are all sorts of wonderful ways and things that I learned to manage. That's how I was first introduced to the term ambiguous loss, because I couldn't quite put my arms around what was I feeling. He was here, but he wasn't. And I thought I was going insane. So I loved being in the world where he was here. But then when I would go over there, I would get so down. And when I heard ambiguous loss, I was like, yes, I'm normal. This is what I'm experiencing. So again, that was a resource that Hospice Supportive Care suggested I read Pauline Boss's book. So all sorts of simple things that add up to making a huge difference.
I'm so glad you talked about ambiguous loss. I've had the pleasure of having Dr. Boss here on my show. And I must tell you, I mean, that is got to be the hardest thing because the person you love is a vessel of who they used to be. And you expect them to react and respond as they always have, and they haven't. They're not there, and that's really hard.
And they can't. They're doing the best they can in that moment.
Right.
But you know, the soul is still there, and that's what Mary Beth would remind us that, you know, you can't, there's still something there. And I would love seeing that. And that would make, you know, just a glitter or a glimmer or a smile. I mean, Jim was still talking. He still knew who we were and all. But don't ask him tomorrow morning what he did the night before, because that just wasn't, you know, it. And so we didn't have those kinds of conversations any longer. So you're right. The change is huge, huge. But even at that, you know, I think that I have walked away from this experience the better for it. And I thank Jim for that. Because I now love being able to help others. I am part of a group that can then listen and hold Susie's hand or acknowledge Bill as an incredible caregiver and husband. And so I can encourage others. And I love doing that. And I think they relate to it because I walked in their shoes. So that's a great thing. And then, I'm a woman of faith. So being able to actually see the fruits of what I know and have read and have always believed, but to actually walk the walk, to really trust, to not know, to be blinded with what's in store. We thought, the children's inheritance was going to be to put Jim in a home. They're expensive. Right. And we thought, well, that's where it's going to be. And so being able to really lean in on being able to trust a sovereign God was, extremely helpful. And what I just gave you an example of, Mary Beth told me that's called futurizing. And that's just we automatically, we're thinking about and I think all of us probably do that, but I think especially when you're a caregiver of someone with a chronic illness, you think about how much more can I do this? How much money is it going to take? How much? And so you're burdened with thinking about the future too. And even her sharing that with me was so helpful, because then I would go, nope, it's today. It's today you're focusing on.
Yeah.
You're making the best of it today.
That's why they call it the present, right?
That's right.
And certainly, no one knows where the end of the journey is except for the big guy upstairs. And we need to make the most of it. And you sharing your journey with us is really special.
You, Bob.
And I can't thank you enough. And, Lin Sue, I would love for you to talk just a little bit about the Dementia Campus, because, it is not just, people think of Hospice of the Valley, they think of hospice. And the fact that this campus is quite extraordinary. And it was in development for a long time.
Yeah, many years, because there was a lot of thought that went into it. So JoEllen is sharing that our supportive care for dementia program goes into the home. But our campus is a hub from which we go out into the valley and help families. But there are so many services and resources at that physical site, which is 44th Street in Indianola in the heart of Arcadia. And there are really 5 parts. So there is a small assisted living for someone with dementia who wants to live there. There is a hospice home. So if you need 24/7 acute care, they have dementia specialized care. Then there is this cute collaboration between an adult day program, which people with mild or moderate dementia can come and have singing and dancing and art and all of the social engagement that keeps the brain firing longer and find joy. And there's special time throughout the day with the preschoolers right next door. So there are preschoolers who are with the YMCA at Arcadia, and that's their campus, is on our dementia campus.
I love it.
And they have this special time together. Little kids don't know when a grandma or grandpa type has dementia. Right. And long-term memory is the last thing to go. So the people with dementia remember children. They're in their lap reading books. They're rolling a ball. They're giggling. They're saying, oh, good job, honey. All the things that just automatically come out. So it's empowering for both. Right. The kids aren't as shy around grown-ups, and the grown-ups get to remember children.
I love that.
And then the 5th piece of our campus, which is really for the whole community, is education. Education Center, the Memory Cafe, support group she talked about. And the unique thing about that is you bring your person with dementia.
Which is so perfect.
Yes, because you don't have anyone to leave them with.
You can't leave them with anyone.
Nope.
Exactly.
So you're in the support group with other caregivers. They're in another room with all these fun activities, pet therapy, music, everything, art, and you don't have to worry about them. And and when they come to get them, they don't want to go home, so they had a good time. Yeah, and then all kinds of resources. Right. There are tons of classes. Mary Beth gives presentations. There's, I don't want to take a shower. No. And it's a real struggle.
It is a struggle.
And so there are presentations that show you, you come up to someone and you preserve their dignity. You're holding 2 shirts. And you go, which shirt do you want to wear? They choose one. Okay, great. Let's go get freshened up. Don't say shower.
Right.
And you go in to put it on. But while we're here, let's do a little sponge bath, or let's just jump in here. It's nice and warm. And then they put their nice shirt on. And then you say, let's put this on. And then we can go, what is their favorite thing? Read, go for a walk, get some ice cream. So they're motivated by what you just told them you're going to do, and they put the shirt on. All these techniques that instead of you fight, you haven't had a shower. I took a shower yesterday. No, you didn't. It's been a week. It has not been a week. And you argue, and nobody wins. Nobody's going to win an argument with someone with dementia. Yeah.
So true. And everyone's heard the term, redirecting people.
Yes.
But, the fact is, and I've learned this through Hospice of the Valley, is that you have to validate someone's feelings before you redirect them.
Right? Yes, and.
Yes.
Good point.
Not no.
No, yes,
and let's da-da-da.
Yeah.
So
very
important.
true.
And those skills are things that people don't innately have. And that's why the support groups are really good. And the educational piece is part of the Dementia Campus. I get emails, but how do people that are listening here or watching here, how do they find out about these?
Well, we have a newsletter.
Okay.
So they can call us and we can tell them how to sign up for the newsletter.
Okay.
We can email it to them and then they click on something and they're subscribed. So they will know all of our educational presentations. That are free. They will know all of our resources. They'll know when the support groups are. They'll know when we have campus events that the public is invited to. They'll learn about our adult day program if they think they want their loved one to come a couple times a week because they're bored out of their minds pacing at home.
Right.
Everybody needs purpose.
They do.
Yeah. So, and they'll learn so much. And more than anything, as JoEllen shared, it normalizes a journey that most people never expected to be on. So they're not prepared.
Right.
And they think
so
they're going
true.
insane. They're exhausted. They're isolated. They're depressed. I'm the only one going through this. I thought we were going to enjoy our golden years. What is happening? Right? And so they see other people on that same journey who can uplift them and support them and share what they've learned that works. And it's community.
Yeah. And listening, just listening to each other.
So, JoEllen, your advice to listeners and viewers here today is that, there's signs that you see and we need to act on those signs. And,
yes.
And I'm guessing, go see your primary care physician or maybe go see a neurologist if you're suspecting something's going on.
Yes.
If you see something, you say something, right?
Yes.
Because if you want to ignore it, it's just only going to get worse. And I see this in the work that we do. So we're coming up on our 32nd anniversary. We're not quite at 50.
Congratulations.
And I think we've had a partnership with Hospice of the Valley for all of our years. Yeah. And I, too, went through the journey with Hospice of the Valley, and we had been partners for so long. My first experience was in 2021 when I lost my stepmother. And it was an incredible experience. It was like nothing I had ever experienced. And while her journey was really quick, literally it was 50 days from diagnosis to death. I had another journey a year and a half later with my dad, Sheldon Roth, and we affectionately called him Noodles.
Noodles.
That's right.
Aww.
And Lin Sue got a chance to meet him on numerous occasions.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, even came to his condo to go visit him in his final month of life. And I will tell you, he gave me a gift. And that was when he left the hospital in September of 22. He said to me in the car ride home, he says, I don't want to ever go back. And I said, why, Dad? And he said, because I'm still broken. They don't fix me anymore. I'm still broken. I'm like, what do you want to do? And he said, I want to go on hospice. And that doesn't happen every day.
No.
It takes a lot of courage.
The reason why he said that was because he was informed, knowledgeable. He had learned from Lin Sue, learned through Hospice of the Valley, knew that was an option to be comfortable. So,
at some point it is about quality of life.
Right. It is totally. And that was an extraordinary journey for me.
Yeah.
So,
that is a gift.
It is a gift. And, I so relate to what you're going through.
Yeah.
And I know that you're still feeling that loss now.
Yeah.
But I also feel like you're giving back by supporting Hospice of the Valley as you have. And this is probably a great segue to talk about how you're supporting the I think it's the marquee event.
Yes.
The Aaha.
Yes.
It is.
And you know, I would love for you to share with us, and maybe Lin Sue, you can talk to us about the beginnings of this and where it's gone, and the event is coming up really soon. It's April 25th, I think.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And it's at the Marriott
JW Marriott in
at
Scottsdale.
Camelback Inn. And
Yes.
they do such a great job.
Yes.
So
Beautiful
if you could
place.
paint us a picture, that's a great pun, right? Art.
Because it's art, yes.
Because it's art. Can you paint us
Yeah.
a picture of what that's like?
Yes, yes. So Aaha is an auction of heirlooms and art. And then we put an exclamation point. Aha. So predominantly it's art. We have artists that have been donating for a number of years, well-known named artists. And we set up a gallery, and it's beautiful. And folks go in, and we have a little bit blurb on the piece of art, and of course, what we're selling it for, because it's an auction. And we also have the non-art. We'll have jewelry and maybe Segway tours now, and different things like that to help us raise money. Letitia Fry, we're so blessed to have Letitia as our auctioneer.
She's amazing.
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 She loves hospice. She knows so many in our audience now. She's been doing it, so she's able to say, come on, JoEllen, raise that paddle.
She was also a volunteer with a patient for many years. So she actually was caring for someone. One of our patients fell in love with their family and him, and she knows the mission.
Yes,
Well, and I
very
also
much.
love when auction items get bidded up and they're down to 2 people.
Oh,
And then she says,
She's so
well,
good.
You know what? You win. We got 2 of them.
Yeah.
The donor just gave us a second one.
Yeah,
yeah,
so
and she makes it fun for everybody in
Right.
the audience, and it's just a real happening, really. And then, of course, we have an incredible dinner, and Nate Nathan and the McDaddios are so supportive of our community, and of course, great music and dancing. Of
course.
So it's fun. We anticipate about 500 people, and making monies each year. We kind of focus on an area that we want to have as a giving need. And this year it's our charity care, and Lin Sue can speak to that. But it's exciting for the persons on this group, an auxiliary, if you will, who work all year to bring in these different hunt for the art, get those silent auction items.
Trips.
Yes, trips and
Experiences,
yes,
yeah.
and then buy the tickets to the table and do all of that. I've been on this committee probably 15 years.
Wow.
And it was my turn this year to chair. I've watched so many, and part of not only are we working to raise the funds, but we educate each other. We have an education piece at all of our meetings, so that this group of, there's about 50 of us who are on the committee, learn more and more about hospice. And it's amazing because we're doing so much. And even in the 15 years that I started, our programs have grown and multiplied, and, such vastness that
And the need is really
the
grown, too.
need.
Growing.
And so it's so great for this group because really they're our ambassadors. All of our volunteers are our ambassadors. And so they're learning so much about the organization. It gets them all excited. And we're thrilled to be able to be play a role in supporting Hospice of the Valley through this Aaha auction. Yeah, it's a great night.
Well, it is. And there's such a build up to this. And I never really realized that you guys are like planning this a year in advance.
Yes, we're
Pretty
really putting it
much
together.
after the event, we're huddling with Letitia and the hotel to see what dates are available the following year. And then the planning starts.
Right.
yeah.
And you also represent, and if I recall, some really fine wines to come along with it. So it's not just like the
yes.
Rutherford
right,
or whatever,
Bob. Yeah.
but it is
Right.
it's real good stuff.
Yes, that's a fun portion of our event too, our wine pulls. So lots of raffle, all of that. And so many of us have been where we've grown. And so we've got some new folks, and then the younger ones and the older ones decide we want to stay home. We'll just send you our donation. But lots of us have been friends all these years. So it's so nice to say, Bob, I haven't seen you since this event last year, So it's a real community, real family feeling to this event.
It's kind of like an alumni event,
It
right?
kind of
kind of
is.
going back to college to see your friends
that's a
and
good
see
point,
how they're
Bob.
doing.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
last year was a great year, and you're setting up for success in this year. Mm-hmm. I'm just curious, what were some of the things you learned last year that you're maybe doing a little bit different this year?
Well, thank you for asking that. We always hear there's opportunity for improvement in the food and beverage, Maybe
The
I
dessert
could
needs to
of
be
this,
chocolate.
and we take all of that very seriously. So most of the suggestions are just going from good, better, to the very best.
Extraordinary.
So it's, small things. We realize maybe we need more display items along with the non-auction, because all you see is a piece of paper that says you can golf at, TPC, but maybe now if we had a golf ball and a club. So those kinds of
We package
perfection
things now, and it's
Yeah.
fun. And I think
Yeah.
we also do packages like for children.
Right.
There's memberships to the library and the Phoenix Zoo. And so we really want to make sure that there's something on that, non-live auction for everybody. And then like some amazing live auction items. Incredible trip. I mean, Triple Creek Ranch has been so generous to us. Very exclusive ranch in Montana that Barbara and Craig Barrett own.
Nice.
Right next to the property where Kevin Costner's Yellowstone is filmed. So gorgeous property.
Wow.
And a first-class ranch. So just some beautiful trips. There's always some kind of a river cruise or some exotic in addition to being
This year it's Croatia.
Yes.
Croatia,
Yes.
wow.
Dubrovnik and Split. And
Croatia.
yes.
Yeah. So lovely, lovely things. I think one of the things I enjoy seeing is that we're garnering a younger crowd. When you think about Hospice of the Valley, if you're 30 or 40, you probably haven't experienced anything with us.
Right.
And as I think you've heard us say here, when you experience it, and Bob, you said this as well.
Right.
It's a whole different level of, this gentleman, as Lin Sue was getting out of the car in front of the studio today, stopped her to tell her about his experience with Hospice of the Valley. He's giving a segue tour, and he's like, I have to tell you about was it his dad? Yeah, his father. So
Wouldn't it be great if you could record every one of those encounters?
Oh, I know.
We never get tired of hearing
I know,
it
but
because
it's
it's really a testament to the commitment and the passion of our care teams.
Yeah.
They go into your home and their goal is to treat that family like their own family.
When they're ushering people
Yes.
to the end of their life,
Yes.
it is a lot like
Yes.
nurses who are in the labor and delivery room bringing in life.
Very
They-
similar.
But they feel honored
Right.
because they know it's a sacred time
Right.
and they're there for it. And they're listening to their stories from their whole life because when you see the end, you have memories and wishes and they try to make them come true. And they're so involved and they care so much.
And they know so much, Lin Sue. I mean, they can tell you that, it's getting close.
Yeah, they're very wise.
Amazing.
And I'm like, really? How do you know? Well, we know. And they know because
Just a feeling.
Exactly.
They know.
Yeah.
They know.
Yeah, I know. It's beautiful that way.
really
So
is.
again, getting that younger, introducing it to a crowd that 15 years from now, one of them could be the chair of this fabulous event. So that's probably a little bit of a focus that at least I have, as in, my children, of course, are very familiar with Hospice the Valley. They're barely 40, but their friends, not so much, So again, it's getting that's an opportunity that I see
legacy
with
of
this
caring.
event. A legacy of
It's
caring.
a legacy of caring and really
Yes.
bringing up the younger folks.
The
Yes.
adult children
Yes.
whose parents will need the best of care at some
Right.
point. Instead of them going, I don't know what to do, knowing
Exactly.
what the offerings are
And
and
where to
how to
go.
find the support and where to
Yeah.
go, who to ask.
Yeah.
So do me a favor, set the scene. We're at the JW Marriott at Camelback. So someone attends and they walk in. What's that?
I'm dressed up.
What's that experience like? I want you to set
Yeah.
that.
Well, there's music, right? We have cocktail music.
and
out
I
on
think
the
they serve you
patio.
wine when you walk in, right?
Yeah,
There's
wine
a woman
and
wearing
and
this
champagne.
skirt that is made of champagne glasses. So you just take a champagne glass off her skirt.
There you go. I love that.
Yes,
awesome.
Yes, and everyone's dressed up and festive, and we sign in and we get our auction number and run into each other and maybe parade through with our champagne or a wine through the art gallery where they're passing, of course, the appetizers. And
By the way,
Your
that-
mouth is going to be on the ground as you look at the art. You'll be like, no, that, no, that,
know.
no, that.
and I'm so glad you said that because you literally, it is, you walk through the gallery.
yes,
Gorgeous.
And you get a chance to see all the paintings,
Yes.
and you get a chance to
Yeah.
see which one you like.
And every style and every price point, and it's displayed beautifully. A professional company lights them all. It's just you can kind of really see how it would look in your house.
right.
It's so funny because my little experience. So the wives are going for the jewelry, the non-art auction.
That's
and,
where Susie
and
is.
the husbands are looking at the art and saying, Susie, what do you think of this on that wall? So it's fun to see. I think we have everything for everybody there. And I keep rearranging my walls because I come home with
But there's
more
sculptures,
art,
there's tapestries. It's not
they're
just
stunning.
paintings. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
It's art.
art.
Yeah,
It's art.
Yeah.
we always get these.
And the jewelry's art too.
Yes.
My
Yes.
goal
Yeah.
is to someday go home with a Carl doll. He's a
Yes.
sculptor that does beautiful horses.
Oh, wow.
And they're kind of rustic, but graceful. Gracefully rustic? Rustically graceful? They're stunning.
Yeah.
And it
Will
would,
Tom be there?
yeah.
Well, you might have to plant that seed. Maybe
Yes.
he can
Oh, yeah, there
surprise
we
you.
go.
She really wants this for Christmas.
Yeah.
Does,
Yeah.
the sculpture.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the experience
that's
is,
it.
so you go through the art gallery and you go through the silent auction area.
Right.
Now,
and
what happens
bid away.
Well, and you do it on your phone.
You do it on your phone.
Right. So you can walk around and visit.
Oh, nice.
Right.
So you don't have to write anything down,
No.
but
no,
you can
those
check on
days
your
are-
phone to see if you're being
Somebody,
outbid.
exactly.
Oh, you'll be
right, right. Yes, yes. And then all of a sudden, the bells ring, and it's time to be seated into the ballroom. And of course, we've given people their table numbers, so there's no confusion there. It works like clockwork. Really, it's beautiful. And we start with our dinner, and then Letitia starts to talk to us about, the different items. We start with our live auction, Triple Creek being one of them. We usually have some fabulous piece of art that's probably going to be valued in that $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 price range. A trip or two, fun things. We've had chefs who've donated dinners, and
Tarbell will come to your house and cook for, 10 of your best friends.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's one of the things that got bidded up where Letitia said,
We've got
you
two.
win, you win.
Yes.
You both,
Yes.
we're getting two.
Yeah.
You both
Amazing.
get to have dinners with Mark
Yeah.
Tarbell.
yes.
But there's
Yeah.
also a party after the party. So after the auction's done, Nate and Ethan, the Mac Daddios, who are amazing.
They are amazing.
They play and the people dance the night away. So
And
Yeah,
and Debbie
it's a lot
gets
of
up in the
fun.
beginning and does
She
an
does.
intro. And
Yeah.
Thanks,
oh,
everyone.
Yes.
Really.
Everybody.
And there is, of course, an incredible program to this where we are so excited to introduce the cause, if you will, the specific focus for tonight's monies. And
So glad you mentioned that, by the way, because
yes.
that's what you hope people leave with,
Yes.
right? So they understand a
That
little bit
mission.
more about Hospice of the Valley, what you guys bring.
Yes. And while we were in the Dementia campus growth and development, that was a focus for a couple of years there. And obviously everyone felt it was a huge need because we were able to raise a lot of money that way. And this year we're excited to And I think there's been feedback from not only our committee, but certainly our staff. Do people realize that we support things where there's no payer, there's no reimbursement, there's no insurance that's going to pay for this, there's no Medicare that's going to pay for this. Hospice of the Valley gives this. And as we share that, they're like, oh, like what? Tell us what? Well, we're the only pediatric hospice in Maricopa County, the only one. And they're like, oh, you mean we take care of children at end of life? We're the only one? Yes. And so we get calls where people say, gosh, my neighbor died and he has no monies for any memorial plot. They have no place. They want him buried, but they have nothing. Well, we have donors who give us memorial plots. So we're able to say, we can take care of that. And they're like, you took care of that for my neighbor. So all those kinds of things. I mean, I could go on and on and on. You have to come to Aaha so you can hear, because Lin Sue.
No, but we're talking to our
this year.
But we're talking to our listeners and viewers. You need to come.
Oh, we would love to.
Yes,
so
that's
you
right.
can see and learn.
Yes,
and maybe get some treasure troves there
and
too.
get some treasure
and
troves.
as the only nonprofit in Maricopa County, if you need hospice care and you have no insurance and you have not the money in the bank to pay for care, the only hospice who can care for you is us. We turn no one away and never have in 49 years. We care for you. So there is millions and millions and millions in unreimbursed care.
So I remember Susan Levine saying on my radio show that it was in excess of $10 million a year that you guys are giving away in free services.
In services and community service. So that's now 19 million.
It's 19 million.
Yes.
Wow.
But the unreimbursed hospice care, not dementia care, not palliative care, not grief support, not any of that, is 5.5. So that is the 5.5 million, just hospice. That's
amazing.
What our fund need is this year, is to help ensure that no one goes without hospice care simply because they can't afford it.
Dying with dignity.
Yeah.
That's really what it's all about.
But our commitment is to care for all who come to us, all.
Oh, I love
and we
it.
are going to do that.
All right. So as we close the Aaha.
Yeah.
So JoEllen, you talked about the younger generation attending. Anyone else, that is listening and viewing our show here today, who should be attending?
I think folks new to our community, it's such an opportunity to learn more about Hospice of the Valley. I think that you will learn, you can give, you can support many people who've been recipients. This is a chance for them to let us put our arms around them, in a sense, in a big ballroom, and they can continue to feel and give back. So our longtime friends in the community, we'd love to have them all. And,
you worked over at the thrift shop that does.
Yes.
And you were part of the volunteers. And really, they are what make hospice great.
Yes.
If I remember correctly, and maybe I'm wrong on this number, but is it like 2,000 volunteers you have?
I think it's around 1,900 now.
1,900 volunteers?
Yeah. 1,900 volunteers.
And many of these volunteers...
Oh, we're not even counting the pets, therapy. So it probably is over 2,000.
Probably 2,000.
With the doggies.
Yeah, I remember Sundance. He was the original, right?
Yes, he was.
Sundance was the original, because I'm a lab guy. I love Labrador Retrievers.
Yes,
I remember Sundance. You met Lacey years ago.
Yeah.
And that's what really makes hospice work. And a lot of those volunteers are people that had experienced, like you did personally, that journey that a loved one went on and said, you know what, I could do more.
Yeah. And what's so beautiful about, I think, why we have 2,000 is because our mission, we started as a volunteer organization. There were no funds. It was Dr. Roseberry and some of his friends who were nurses who were visiting people. So the culture at hospice is volunteers are critical and important.
Foundation.
And so we empower them, we utilize them. And of course, when you feel like you're making a difference, you're motivated to continue doing that. And so it's a mutually wonderful opportunity, having been in the volunteer department myself for 15 years and getting to meet so many people. Yes, our staff are incredible. Our volunteers, they go above and beyond and then some more.
And every one of them will say, I get more than I give.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. They're hugely motivated and also.
And the person leading it, I forget her name. She's been there for 20 years.
Yeah,
Stacia.
Yeah, Stacia Ortega.
Uh-huh.
Stacia Ortega's been my daughter, the journalist, was a volunteer.
there.
She was a volunteer,
Oh,
and Stacia was the one that trained her and her group.
Yes.
So you have
Yes.
young kids that are volunteers. You have young
Yes.
adults, and you have older adults. I mean,
Yes.
you really.
Yes, the whole gamut.
It-
Yeah,
it
teen
really-
volunteers,
Yeah.
teen volunteers.
Yeah, that's what she was. She was a teen
volunteer. Yeah. And then there are those that I don't think I can do patient care. I just that's a bit much for me. We say start at the thrift stores and they love it. And once they learn more about our agency, they go, you know what, I think I might be ready to take a patient now. So, and sometimes patient caregivers say, I need a little break. I've cared for and I loved them and my heart just needs to, okay, then let's volunteer at the White Dove. So it's like a career. We say to them, we can transfer you from department to department to, you know.
What gives you purpose?
Yeah.
And it really does. My father had a great saying, and it was a Winston Churchill saying, and that is, you make. I want to make sure I say it right.
Say it right.
All right. So you make a life out of what you make. I'm totally butchering this one, TJ. So
Yeah.
you're gonna have to mango this one. Hold on.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, I've heard it.
Yeah.
I know where you're going
and
there.
I say it all the time. So it's on the tip.
It'll
of my tongue.
come to you.
Hold on.
We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what
There you go. Thank you.
Oh, I love that.
Okay. You ready? 3, 2, 1. You make a living by what you get. You make a life by what you give. And it's just so powerful in terms of giving. And you have nearly 2,000. And pets giving too. I believe your standard.
My standard poodle and I make visits,
Yes.
and he puts his little vest on, and he knows that as long as someone's touching him, he's not to move, and he'll just sit there and be petted till the patient takes their hand away. In fact, if we have people come over and they pet him, he's not moving. Even though he doesn't have his vest on, he figures, I must not be able to move until they're done petting me.
You know what's interesting is that we do a little bit of pet therapy at Cypress, and
Yes.
Ruby is my lab now, and we got her during the pandemic. And you know, Lacey too. Whenever you put the vest on, they sit up. They're like, okay, we're ready to go. They know exactly what that experience
it's
is
wonderful.
all about. It really is.
And, you know,
and they're so tired when they get home.
They are.
They feel like
they
worked.
give so much energy.
yeah. And the impact on our
Thank you.
patients. I mean, it just, you know, sometimes they've been in bed, they haven't smiled, they haven't lifted their head, and all of a sudden there's a pet. And we ask, can the pet be on the bed? And they're suddenly petting and the smile. And so really, it's a pretty powerful, the impact that a pet has on a
because
human.
many of them
you know?
can't have their pet wherever they're
Right.
staying.
Or
If
they
they're
can't
in-
care for
yeah.
them. That's the other
Yeah.
thing we do. So when a patient passes and they have a pet and no one in the family or neighborhood, we also adopt those pets.
Our staff.
And we'll put it on our staff, you know.
I love that.
And they take
That's how I
these
got mine.
pets.
That's how you got yours.
Yes, it was a patient. I had to give him up.
Yeah.
And he's amazing.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even those things, there's just no I that isn't dotted, no T that isn't
You guys
crossed
think of
at Hospice
everything.
of the Valley.
You really do.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, I want to go into a round now as we wrap up.
Okay.
I want to do a little rapid fire. So are you guys ready for this? This gives us a little chance to maybe get to know you a little bit better, maybe more on a personal level. maybe more on professional level. I don't remember what I wrote, so I'm going to just fire them off. The first one I'm going to send over to Lin Sue, and that is one word that describes Hospice of the Valley.
Compassion.
A quality that every caregiver should have.
Selflessness.
Oh, I like that. One misconception about hospice that you would love to correct.
That it's about dying. It's about living every moment that you have.
So true. I love that. What's the most rewarding part of your work?
To think that I could play a small part in such a big focus is very rewarding for me.
I'm going to hit you with another question if it's okay. One word that you hope people feel when they leave April 25th, 2026, the Aaha event.
They're in good hands, that they have a community that cares about every aspect of our citizenship, because we truly are a community agency. We love supporting our citizens in Maricopa County.
Love it. Music or silence?
Music, always. It could be quiet music.
Coffee or tea?
Depends on the time of day. Coffee in the morning,
Coffee in the morning.
tea at 4:00.
There you go. Sunrise or sunset?
Sunrise. It's full of hope, potential.
Oh, I love that too. Beach or mountains?
Ooh, I think I'd choose the mountains.
One word that defines community to you.
Caring.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I want you to use a different word because you could use this word too. One word, or finish the sentence. Hospice of the Valley is about.
Comfort, dignity, and compassion.
It's three words, but it's perfect.
It's our mission.
It's absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I can't thank you both enough for being here. And, I want to give you guys a last opportunity. There may be a question I haven't asked, or at least a lasting thought you want to leave our listeners and viewers here today. I'm sure it's probably about Aaha, but it could be about Hospice of the Valley. But I'll give each of you guys an opportunity to talk about it.
Thank you, Bob. I guess I would like to encourage listeners who might be wondering, how would I get some help? Do I even need it? I'm not even sure. I would encourage them to call Hospice of the Valley and allow us to tell you what's available. And then, because knowledge, you said this earlier, Bob, knowledge is power. And the more you learn about what we can do and how we operate, you may or may not need anything today, but you or someone you love might need it moving forward. So don't hesitate to call us. We're so much more than end-of-life care. But that is, of course, our cup of tea.
And also, I want to add to that, you talked about if you don't have the resources, still call us.
Yes.
Because we'll either direct you or help you through that journey.
Yes. Come learn what we can suggest and give.
100%.
Yeah.
Lin Sue,
I would say you are not alone. That's what people feel. They've been told something devastating and they're paralyzed. And that's because they think they have to do it all themselves and have all the answers. We have experts who have done this for almost 50 years and are still doing it because they love it. And so if they have a question, 24 hours a day, we have a nurse answering the phone. There's no answering machine. And we will help you. It's not, we might be able to help you. We will help you. Whoever we need to call or whatever you need, if we can't provide it, we will direct you to it. So you're not alone.
I love that.
There's a place you can go that you can trust.
And we talked a lot about the volunteers. We talked a lot about the staff. The thing that I'm most impressed with is the MDs, the doctors that you employ. And because of you, I had Dr. Stolzberg on. And I mean, amazing. These doctors that you have helping these families through this journey.
Yes.
And I had one help my dad, you know, was really, really helpful for me and my family.
And this is why he reaches out to other doctors, and we have training programs for med students, because he had very little hospice care education when he was going through his residency. And families come and they get, it's called a diagnose and adios. Oh, you have a terminal illness, but I can't help you. Or you have dementia, but I'm not, I don't do dementia care. There are ways to help. And so education is so important that every doctor can at least direct or have some knowledge or some understanding of what hospice is. So a big focus of ours is not only caring for the community, but supporting professionals.
Supporting professionals. And you mentioned Mary Beth Gallagher and Dr. Jill Hamilton, and the list goes on. You have serious rock stars that work for your agency and really set you guys apart from everyone else.
Full of heart.
Yeah.
April 25th.
Thank you, Bob.
We'll see you there.
The Marriott, Camelback Inn.
Yes.
6 o'clock, I think, is when the doors open.
Yes.
You're going to see that woman with all the champagne glasses. Grab a champagne glass. Make sure you go into the galleries, take a look at some of those. There are some great deals there. And trust me, I understand now we're using technology so you can see where you are in the bidding, and you can make sure you don't get outbid.
Yes.
You can learn more about this at Hospice of the Valley, HOV.org.
Right, under events.
Under events. And if they wanted to call, what's that number?
602-530-6900.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, Lin Sue, it's a pleasure to see you again. Thank you for coming onto my show.
Of course, anytime.
And JoEllen, you and I
Thank
are
you,
new
Bob.
best buddies. I'm going to see you on April 25th. Thank
look
you for
forward to
joining
it.
me on Health Futures.
Thank you, Bob.
And thank you, our
Thank you.
viewers, for joining us. We'll be back next week. Thank you. Make it a great day. And we'll see you next time.
There's no place like home. You've been listening to Bob Roth's Health Futures. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call Cypress Home Care Solutions at 602-264-8009. That's 602-264-8009. Or visit cypresshomecare.com.